Opened in 1960 by Burton Smith, this track is one of the biggest and continues to grow. The amenities and the spectator comfort never cease to amaze, and it's the capital of motorsport. Live from the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway, it's the Overtake iRacing League Multi-Class Series, presented live here on V-Speed. Welcome in, everybody. I am your host, Bradley Cooper, and up in the tower, working the controls, DJ Lion on production here from V-Speed Sim. You can check us out at vspeedsim.com. And for the Overtake iRacing League, it's race number 5 of the season. And the multi-class series has put on some great shows. Oktane last week there, as we talk about the variety of racetracks. We had an iRacing Super Speedway debut that we missed here on V-Speed, but if you want to talk about organized chaos, these different spectrums of speed with the A-Class, B-Class, and Truck Series all on the same racetrack at the race at the same time, it's going to be more of the same, but a little more organized, a little more of a level playing field here tonight at Charlotte, and the mile and a halves have been kind to us. And a lot of times the trucks prevail when it comes to top end and long run speed. They'll actually be up there competing with the A-Class car. So look from an aerial coverage view as we scroll down to Concord, North Carolina, this 1.5 mile speedway with 24 degrees of banking in the corners. Been known to put on many great shows, and officially the longest race of any NASCAR season with the Coca-Cola 600. Of course, that back when Lowe's Motor Speedway was the name of this venue, and it's hosted wins to drivers like Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, a dominant driver here, and even Kyle Busch. Quite a few drivers have found their way around this track since 1960 when it opened. So, of course, 5 degrees banking on the backstretch. This quad oval will go 1.5 miles, 2.41 kilometers, and this 4-corner quad is going to be a little bit treacherous, especially with the weather that we're setting up for here tonight. We kind of talked about how the track temp is going to vary as the lights go down, or the night sky and the lights come out. 78 degrees on the track temp currently, but that could change and grip this racetrack up. Look at your points here. In the truck standings, Peyton Hubbard has stretched out a 20-point lead over Daniel Worthington. Hubbard, of course, 5 playoff points in that mix. Xfinity Series, well, it's going to change here tonight with only one car participating in the Xfinities, and that's going to be Cody Anderson out on the racetrack. Almost guaranteed a win at this point unless he has a crash, and even at that point, as long as he's still running, he will be able to claim victory. And then James Silver's here with a 6-point lead, so the gaps are pretty tight in the Xfinity and Cup standings, but you would think with the truck standings, over 18 trucks started out the season here. This is the biggest grouping of all the multi-class series. Peyton Hubbard still maintains that lead, and he's had a dominant performance at every single track we've been at with a string of top 5 finishes. So looking forward to seeing if Peyton Hubbard can continue to stretch out that lead. So we move on to your race analysis here. 115 laps. All drivers will be on the same lap counter. Pit road speed limit 40 miles per hour. Tire sets available. We've got 3 for the Cup Series and 4 for the Xfinity and Truck Series. 3 green-white checkered attempts. Stage lap at lap 40. And of course, iRacing fixed setups for all 3 of these classes. A quick talk about all of the sponsors here tonight for the Overtake iRacing League. Of course, Holley, and with Alex Healy and what he does in real life and the real-time job, brought them on as a sponsor here for season number 2. So we'd like to thank Holley for everything they've done here for the league thus far. And then we have Oktane Designs. Of course, they do all kinds of different designs for I believe it's automotive and simulation, that they're CNC machines, and you can find out more about that in the description. And then finally, 4D2 Designs, and that is Cody Anderson and his personal graphic design shop. You can also find more in the description below. So about 2 minutes left here in qualifying. Right now, as it sits, Michael Jones is leading on the pole for the Truck Series. James Silvers will be in the first spot as far as the A-Class. And, of course, Cody Anderson just ripped it around for a couple laps there in qualifying, but doesn't really have much to worry about here tonight. The B-Class, very quiet. We'll have about 15 vehicles out on the track here today, and it will shape up to be probably a dominant race for the trucks. They look a lot faster than the A cars, if you can believe that. About a tenth faster in the top end. So a 29.584 for Michael Jones, as opposed to a 29.687 for, I believe it was James Silvers. And his last lap was a little off pace there. I think he had a problem in his second lap, but still enough for the top spot in the A car. So still working on some of those timings, and I think this is an opportunity here to pull up one of those drivers. Let's bring up your points leader, Peyton Hubbard. We've got the 51 up in the booth. Do you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Peyton, you're in the biggest class, the biggest grouping of this multi-class series, and somehow you have the biggest lead of all three of those point series. How does it feel to call yourself the leader going into race number 5?
Yeah, I know it's a pretty small series so far. I know they only have like 15 people total tonight, but overall, I mean, it's good just to have a couple of those early out of the way. I think we got 11 races left, counting this one, so it's in a good spot, and just gonna kind of go out there and see if I can learn something from my teammates. You know, I know all three of us seem to get together at some point in the race and like to run up front, so just kind of just run with those guys and see what we can do.
Well, Peyton, I got to ask, the truck looks like it's a little bit faster tonight. Do you think overall this truck will stay ahead of the A-Class?
I think the biggest thing I see every week is that once the tires meet kind of like a neutral ground, the Cup cars seem to just pull away because they don't fall off as much and they have more fuel. So in the beginning, we'll probably stay with them, but I don't think we're going to be able to pass them and pull away from them or anything.
Well, with that, Peyton, good luck out there tonight. You'll be starting in the 3rd position. Good luck out there, man.
Thank you, buddy.
Peyton Hubbard, Bandit Motorsports driver in the number 51. He will be starting in row number 2. But let's take a trackside now for that grid. Michael Jones with a 29.584. He's fast enough over Sean Kaser by about 1/100th of a second to get the pole. Row number 2 belongs to Daniel Worthington, Wes Wiegand, actually Peyton Hubbard, and James Silvers. And so we just mentioned there that Peyton Hubbard will be starting in the 3rd position. James Silvers, the first of the A-Class cars in the next gen. And then it goes Daniel Worthington with Wes Wiegand. A lot of trucks up here in this top 5 to start it off. David Farmer will start in the 7th position with Bobby Hall Jr. in 8th. And rounding out your top 10, it's Thomas Hall, Matt Grenier in the number 15. Cody Anderson, the only B car out here tonight, will start in the 11th spot with Michael Robinson in 12th. We move on to 13th, Barrett Morton and Alex Healy, the league admin and owner, will start from 14th. And then it's John Schwartz to round out your 15 car or truck field here today. So some scenic looks around here at Concord, North Carolina. We've got an awesome camera pack here to show you. Just beautiful visuals here by our producer, DJ Lines, and what he's been able to put back together after having some technical issues and unfortunate set of circumstances in the first presentation that we had here for the Overtake iRacing League. But we've got it all sorted, and I'm excited for tonight's coverage as we line them up here on the front stretch of that grid. Of course, one of the few racetracks that these cars line up in a tandem like that in this single file formation. Just a really cool aspect. I wish they would do it at more racetracks. Of course, Michigan and Auto Club, I believe, are starting to make that conversion. But really and truly, just a unique grid here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and for good reason. This is a very unique racetrack. I know that we go to a lot of quad ovals and mile and a half. So you've got Texas and, of course, drawing a blank here, Atlanta Motor Speedway. They are shaped very similar and pretty much the same layout. But with Charlotte, very narrow, very steep banking. The exits on these corners will cause these cars to slide up. It's going to gravitate towards the outside wall as they continue to get on the accelerator. So you have to be careful not to run up into the wall or run up into the guy on your outside. Completing passes are going to have to be early, or you're going to have to self-clear, and the guy's going to have to make a decision. Does he want to give up that spot, or will he play defense and risk getting into contact? So here we go. 115 laps. We're stage at lap 40. Pace car is going to pull off for the first time today. The Overtake iRacing League Multi-Class Series is live and racing from Charlotte, North Carolina. Already some problems on the backstretch there. It looked like Daniel Worthington and it goes 3 wide down the back stretch. It looked like he maybe had a car get loose in front of him. I think it was, not quite sure, maybe Bobby Hall or the 9 of Barrett Morton, but there was issues back there deep in the field. They've lost a lot of ground here to Cody Anderson, who's in that 10th spot. Scored his first in the B class. Of course, no other B class cars on this racetrack, but he is quietly running by himself right now as we see some side-by-side. A little bit ahead of that, Michael Jones and Matt Grenier. Looks like the A car already starting to surge towards the front in just a couple laps. Battle for 12th here. Barrett Morton looks to the inside of Bobby Hall Jr. This would be for P4 in the trucks. P12 on the racetrack. Not able to complete that pass, falls back in line down the backstretch. There's Peyton Hubbard, who started in the front, has fallen back to 8th already. He is second in this truck grouping, though. Michael Jones, who was the first truck, working his way around. He's in the 7th spot on the racing surface. All 6 of the A-Class cars have found the top 10 and now the top 5. Alex Healy getting passed on the outside by Matt Grenier into 3 and 4. Can he complete the pass off of the exit? He'll run it wide here, almost gets into the wall, and the 15 has to back out of it. That's going to let Healy back across, and he's looking on John Schwartz in the 48 now for another position. Healy not able to complete that. A self-clear here by Michael Robinson on John Schwartz. He cuts the nose off of the 48. Ends up going to the outside. Looks like Schwartz will prevail. 2 spots lost. Healy tags the apron. Getting a little bit squirrely up here for the A-Class. And hanging just behind him, Michael Robinson. They have not lost touch, but they're kind of battling amongst themselves in each one of these classes. Of course, no reason to push if you're Cody Anderson. He's letting these guys sort it out. But A-Class, nose to tail, and the trucks. Pass for the lead in the truck series. Michael Jones had Peyton Hubbard on the inside, but gets a good run on the high line. He's actually into the wall, though. Makes a mistake. Got dirty air from the 54 of Robinson. And that'll check him back up. He falls back to the clutches of Peyton Hubbard into 1. And so we've talked a little bit briefly about the different air that comes off of this A-Class car compared to the trucks, compared to the other vehicles. And so it's a bigger hole that this A-Class car, with the diffusers and the way that this car is modified, it's very draft and aero dependent, but it leaves a lot of wake behind it. And so when these trucks and the other class cars get up behind it, it's very difficult to complete a pass. And it's a very unique scenario for some of these guys in the truck that, you know, is very momentum based. It kind of drags you back and pushes that truck up the racetrack, and you saw that just there on the exit previously. As we ride on board with the back of John Schwartz, he's looking back at Alex Healy, currently riding in the 3rd spot. Back and forth just behind him, though, and Michael Jones looks like he made another mistake. Wes Wiegand is now accordioned back up for this 7th position. Almost contact into turn 1 between the 88 and the 51. Wiegand to the inside. Looks like he'll complete this pass before the backstretch. Battle for the lead. Top spot in the A car. 17 of James Silvers has the 84 of Dave Farmer, who will come by to lead his 7th lap rather of the day. But Silvers trying to take that point back. He's down 1 position after starting on the pole. He only led 2 laps to begin this race. Looked like the momentum swing was in his favor there for just a brief second, but now losing ground to the front A-class. And an awesome onboard shot here, just looking over top of that louver and that dash. Visibility in these A-class cars, once you get right up on the back bumper, it gets difficult. 3 wide behind Silvers there briefly. The 15 of Grenier had looked and peeked in the middle. Thought he was going to take it 3 wide between Schwartz and Healy. Healy is going to benefit the most from all of that. He works his way up to the 3rd spot now. Flex Motorsports driver on the move. Looks like he's got the momentum to maybe go up and snag away the lead. Looks inside of Silvers. Holds it down to the bottom. Tags the apron. Another mistake there for Healy. He's done that twice now. And it's such a momentum killer with this car and the underpinning and this front splitter. It almost feels like a skateboard when you hit that transition. It gets suddenly flat down there, scrubs a lot of speed, and it probably becomes a handful. So we'll go on board here with the 97 and see what he's got trying to hold on to this wheel. Looks relatively stable as he comes out of turn 2. Trying to stay in the draft of Silvers. He's going to get a momentum build up here for the entry of turn 3. It looks like he's driving a little bit deeper into the corner than Silvers is. Might be a product of Silvers trying to challenge for that lead a moment ago and burning the right front off. Still nose to tail, 1st through 4th in the A-class. Michael Jones and Peyton Hubbard change for position for the top spot in the truck series. Peyton Hubbard takes it over and picks up right where he left off in the trucks. We quickly have to give credit where credit is due. Cody Anderson appearing out here tonight as we see the battle there just with contact with the wall, and it looks like Sean Kaser is going to try to take advantage of that, but a big mistake there by Bobby Hall Jr. and maybe some right front damage after that tag with the safer barrier. Very minimal damage. Looks like he's back on it. Here's an instant replay as they come out of the corner. Just gets squeezed up here. This is what we're talking about in the pre-race. These trucks are going to want to push up towards the outside on the throttle. And Michael Jones just runs out of room there. Back to the live shot, though. He goes back to the inside of Michael Jones. Gives him a taste of his own medicine out of the same corner. Not able to complete the pass. And another Flex Motorsports driver trying to advance his position. The action really picked up when I tried to talk about Cody Anderson. Just wanted to give him a brief moment here in the GG's 42. He's quietly running out here all by his lonesome, but I can guarantee you that if there were some other B-class cars out here, he would definitely be on pace with them. He's running a 32.453, which is about a second off from the trucks, but no reason to push it really. Doesn't have to worry much. He still has a few drivers behind him, and we had problems here. Looks like Peyton Hubbard just came down pit road, so playing a little bit of strategy. I don't know if Peyton Hubbard was planning that or just felt like the tires had fallen off. I don't know if that's going to be the same for everyone. I know 40 laps, that's probably pushing it on fuel, but I feel like you could save just enough to make it to this stage caution. We'll have to wait and see. I know the A-Class cars have a bigger fuel tank, and the percentages, they vary. Almost some contact there. Hubbard on fresher tires almost got into the back of Michael Jones. This is just closing speed. This is what 4 tires feels like. You feel like Superman. You can cut down into these corners, drive down on the bottom, back to the throttle a lot sooner. Michael Jones not predicting that closing rate and was coming down the racetrack. A little bit of a wake-up call there for the 2. Sean Kaser leading the trucks, though, has yet to come down pit road. We've had 4 drivers, Barrett Morton, Peyton Hubbard, Wes Wiegand, and Daniel Worthington in the trucks, all come in for 4 tires. Actually, fuel only for Hubbard. So I said it was 4 tires, but maybe just that full tank of fuel is affecting the handling enough to cause this truck to drive better into the entry. Usually that's what you see with 4 fresh tires, is they're just launching into the corner and able to get back and snap the throttle and keep it down there. Sometimes fuel can give you that same sense of security with throttle response. There's on board with Sean Kaser, currently in the 7th spot on track, first in the trucks. The multi-class continues on here for lap number 20. David Farmer maintains the lead. A-Class is tight. Less than a second separate all 6 of these drivers. About 8/10 back to Michael Robinson in the 54. They have left the rest of this field, though. It's about 9-10 seconds back to Sean Kaser. David Farmer just continues to lead lap after lap. Nobody challenging. I think some of these guys behind him are playing a little bit of strategy, maybe thinking long-term. Can they save enough fuel with these bigger fuel tanks to make it all the way to the end of this stage? This could be one of those surprise, hey, I got you moments on strategy. Farmer could be the fastest car, but if he has to come down pit road, he's going to lose a lot of time, and that could open the door up for guys like James Silver's Alex Healy, who won't have to battle him and use their stuff up. Instead, they can sit calmly behind, save a little fuel, and stay in this tandem with this A car probably handling a little bit better with the wake of the car in front of him. Healy way up the racetrack here for the 3rd spot. Matt Grenier looks to the inside. Back it up a little bit. Decides not to continue with that battle. Back into conservation mode. So that almost confirms what I'm feeling about this A-Class, that they're all just content with running where they are and trying to outwit each other when it comes down to check. And right now, they've still got a lot of pawns that they have to play. This is the worst chess analogy ever on V-Speed. But you can see how David Farmer holds it all together. He's burning more fuel. He's probably calculating, if I come down pit road now, then James Silvers might be forced to come down as well because of the speed difference. That's another factor here. We might see fuel only as well for the A car. Got to make it to lap 40 to complete this stage. Checking back in, though, with Sean Kaser, Bobby Hall Jr. There's Peyton Hubbard about to theoretically unlap himself from his class of cars. He'll look to the inside of Bobby Hall across this quad oval. And what a difference the handling has been. I know Hubbard is fast. He's proven that he can lead the laps here. However, that fuel tank being full of fuel is just helping him drive so much deeper and faster into these corners. I'm impressed of just how much of a difference that handling has been. And if guys for Sean Kaser and Bobby Hall, they just probably better off to let Hubbard go. It's such a spread here for the trucks. 4 trucks. Looks like Bobby Hall is going to come down pit road. Will he try fuel only? The other 4 trucks that did pit. Yeah, he misses his stall, slides through a couple feet there. That's going to cost him a little bit of time. What should be about 6.5 in the box actually turns into an 9.5 second stop. And he's going to lose 3 seconds compared to Peyton Hubbard. Thank goodness for that stage caution. This is going to set him back probably a good 4 or 5 seconds on the racetrack. Carrying on here with Sean Kaser. When does he make the call to come down pit road? Confirming that most of these trucks, probably all of them, aren't going to make it to the end of this stage. It continues on, though, for the A-Class. They have started to spread out a little bit here. Farmer pulls the lead out to about half a second. Matt Grenier looking to the outside, trying to hold off the 54 of Michael Robinson. Remember, the 54 was at the tail end of this grouping. Now it's Alex Healy who has fallen off, and he's 1.9 seconds back from these leaders. Still playing defense. Grenier finally able to get it by and clear. Now the 48 of Schwartz is going to try his luck into 3. You can see right here, it looks like the 54 a little bit stronger through 3 and 4. He's going to prevail back to the inside. Just loses a little bit of momentum. That higher groove, usually able to hold it a little bit better on the exits. Back down to the bottom in 1 and 2. Doesn't look quite as strong. Looks like Grenier probably going to clear down the backstretch. So 2 spots lost after the 54 tried to get around Grenier. Goes back to the 5th position. Alex Healy again still losing some time. Not sure if he made another mistake with the apron, but for the 97, he's kind of outside looking in. The rest of this group has stayed pretty tight. But as for the next-gen A-Class, Alex Healy has got to figure something out. Got to change that line, do something a little bit different. Maybe strategy could play in his favor. Here's Peyton Hubbard to the inside of Sean Kaser. Of course, Hubbard scored 1 lap down here. Sean Kaser, the last of the grouping here to hit pit road. He has stretched this run out now 31 laps on the stint. Cody Anderson yet to come down pit road as well, currently running in the 8th position, first in his class. Hubbard just not able to get around. I think the fuel has equalized out enough now that the load on the suspension isn't helping that 51 drive into the entries, and Sean Kaser doing a phenomenal job of keeping him behind him. However, Kaser inevitably is going to have to come down pit road. And for Hubbard, he'll probably retain the lead before this stage break. There he is, coming down pit road now. So, finally has to come in. Couldn't stretch it any further. This is 7 laps short of the stage as we complete lap 33. Side by side up here with Matt Grenier and John Schwartz. Schwartz to the outside is going to take away the 3rd spot. Will he be able to go up there and claim a stage win, though? Schwartz in the A car last season chalked up a couple of wins for the 48 team. Was able to get it done. Came down to the wire at the very end of that season, but Schwartz put on a phenomenal season in the inaugural Overtake iRacing League Cup Series. Looks like he's putting together some strong effort here tonight as well. Definitely a top 3 day as he pushes towards James Silvers. Healy continues to lose ground, 4.5 seconds now back to the 97. Looks like the A-Class is going to be able to make it on fuel. No one has tried pit road, and at this point, 36 laps into this race, I would say they're all committed to staying out for the remainder of stage number 1. Quick connection issue there for the 15. Looks like it's cleared up, though. I had that on my end as well. 113 of Daniel Worthington just trying to stay out of the way here. He's going to let these two settle it out and go on by. How about Schwartz? He's starting to challenge with just 3 laps to go. Looking to the outside. Silvers is going to have to play some defense. This is going to be a big run down the backstretch. He's going to touch the bumper into the entry, try to send Silvers a little bit further into the corner than he wants to go. And how about this for the high line? Looks like he got back to the throttle a little bit too soon. Had to lift a little bit. Still going to get a run down through the quad. Coming by for 2 laps to go. 3 to go, rather. We have to complete lap 40 for this stage break. There he is to the outside. He will prevail for second spot. Still a lot to make up, though. 0.6 of a second to David Farmer. He's going to hold it up here right next to the wall. That Kyle Larson line. Holds on to it. Not clear. Silvers holding defense. There it is across the line. It's going to be a toss-up. He is a little bit faster, but he still has to run his perfected line on the high line. It looks like a 10th off that time around. Farmer going to take the white flag this time by, looking back from the 84. Short still being challenged temporarily by the 17 of Silvers, who's trying to get that second spot back. White flag in the air, actually stage at 40. So the caution comes out here, and that's official. It's David Farmer getting the win in the A car. Bobby Hall Jr. is able to edge out, even after the mistake in the box. Bobby Hall is going to take the Truck Series Stage 1. And looking at those numbers, I don't know what Bobby Hall was doing differently. If Peyton Hubbard had just came in a little bit too early. It's about a 10-lap difference on the stint. Sean Kaser, the last to pit of those trucks. Michael Jones had a mistake on pit road. Actually took 4 tires as well. But here we go for pit stops. I would assume everyone going to take 4 tires this time around. 3 sets available for the A class. 4 sets for the truck and the Xfinity. Four tires all the way around for every A-class car. Down and away for Farmer. Looks like Silver's going to challenge. Actually, really close there. And I think Silver's won the battle off pit road. He'll take the lead. Hayden Hubbard takes back that top spot. Looks like these drivers in the Truck Series electing to stay out for the most part. So interesting strategy for Peyton Hubbard, Sean Kaser, all these trucks that have stayed out on the racetrack. 24 laps on the stint. Of course, Cody Anderson also, as we rotate through. We're going to take a brief commercial break here on V-Speed. The Overtake iRacing League multi-class series coverage will continue from Charlotte right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here live from Charlotte Motor Speedway as we group these drivers back up. They're going to separate each driver per class for this restart. You can see a wave around here for the 2 of Michael Jones. He's going to get one of those laps back. That would be 1 lap down. Daniel Worthington, Thomas Hall, 2 laps down. It's Bobby Hall Jr. that won the stage for the trucks. All the truck class is 1 lap down here after having to come down pit road compared to James Silvers to Alex Healy in the next gen A class. They stayed out for the entirety of that run. A little bit bigger fuel tank, so they were able to hold on to it. But we will come back here. We're going to take another brief break as we cycle through this running order. You're watching the Overtake iRacing League multi-class series on V-Speed.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends.
Snap a bookmark if you can. We are back here live. We just came back and we were about to take the green flag. We were going to miss the entry in this restart, but thought for sure these guys would get it going. Looked like Bobby Hall, Sean Kaser, big problems here on the restart. A little bit of wheel spin, snaps the 24 and the 94 together. Take a look at the V-Speed instant replay. This is coming up, single file restart. Don't know if anybody had help here. But you're going to see a couple trucks go sideways and to the outside wall. Right here, the green flag drops. Peyton Hubbard and Wes Wiegand, looks like a little check up there. Wes Wiegand gets into the back of Sean Kaser, and Cody Anderson, I mean, he just can't catch a break. He's the only B car out here. He gets caught up in it. On board with the, let's go on board there with Cody Anderson and see what he saw. Wiegand gets into the back of Kaser here. Barrett Morton, I think, almost took over the top spot. He slid his way past everyone, but here's on board with Anderson. You never saw it coming. I mean, it just snaps free in front of him. There's nowhere to go. Everyone comes to a complete stop. We almost created a parking lot here on the front stretch at Charlotte. So Cody Anderson's coming down pit road to get some of this damage repaired. The lights are on the pace car, so that means first caution of the night. We just tried to go back green for the second stage of this race. Of course, all these drivers that got involved in that were all pretty much in the same class, and they're all a lap down, so they're going to come in and get some of this damage repaired. We try to give credit where it's due. Cody Anderson, of course, the only B-class car out here, but he got mixed up with the truck series, and he's just trying to have a quiet day and finish this race. For him, it's a guaranteed victory, but if he DNFs, that's going to hurt him overall. And so maybe not the day that he wants, but still going to get that top spot finish. Would like to complete all the laps. I know for Cody, it's not so much about the victories. It's more about the participation and having fun doing it. And so if he has a damaged car and he's not able to get back out there, that would be a real shame. And we're going to try to pull up the driver of that number 42 here into the booth. Really quick here, Cornerstone Motorsports driver Cody Anderson up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Cody, you're the only B-class out here, but you get caught up in a wreck on the restart. How much damage does that thing have?
I came in with about 5 minutes of optional repair.
Looked like a big check up there. Was it wheel spin? I know a lot of those trucks that stayed out that looked like they all snapped free.
I think it was a checkup within the Cup cars that initially started it, but as far back as I couldn't see nothing except for the 94's bumper.
And come out here with the GGs on the hood. Anybody you want to shout out, though, while we have you up in the booth?
Just want to say thanks to you guys for broadcasting, everybody in oil for putting this series on, and everybody over at CSM.
Appreciate your time, Cody.
Thank you.
Cornerstone Motorsports driver in the 42. Gonna try to get that 5 minutes of optional repaired. Get back out there on the racetrack as he tries to bring it home in the B car. James Silvers, John Schwartz, David Farmer, the top three in the A-Class. Then it's Peyton Hubbard, Sean Kaser, and Barrett Morton in the trucks. Cycling through, still a lap down for all of those Truck Series drivers, but a lot of damage repair after, I believe, every single one of those drivers got involved in something during that little fiasco at the restart line. And this all happened within the range of the Geico restart zone, so every one of these trucks should be insured. I don't know what that premium looks like, and a lot of deductibles have been paid here at Charlotte tonight. Silvers and Farmer playing around with the chicane there, running the Roval format of this racetrack. So let me know in the chat what your opinion is of the Roval. Personally, for me, I hate road racing. And it's not because there's a good view of it right there. And a little bit different configuration this year for the Cup Series. They actually changed turn 7, if I remember correctly. They elongated the corner just before turn 3 of NASCAR turn 3. So that infield got a lot more usage this year. Been, I believe, 5 years consecutively that the NASCAR Cup Series has been running that configuration. Of course, they still do the longest race of their season, the Coca-Cola 600. 600 grueling miles around this place, and you know, based off of what these guys are doing out here tonight, it's almost mind-numbing. You had such a good rhythm there in that first stage. Now you're rethinking the strategy. I'm hearing some of these drivers clutch to try to stretch this run out as far as they can. We know that the A-Class car can go a bit further than anyone else. This could be another opportunity to put the Truck Series another lap down. But for guys like Peyton Hubbard, Michael Jones, and Sean Kaser, this throws the strategy all over the place as we continue to try to sort things out. Drivers coming in and out of pit road trying to get damage repaired. And hopefully we'll see that iRacing Mustang paint car turn those lights off here very soon. While we continue to wait on that, we'll get confirmation down the backstretch. I think that's the last time they turn those lights off. Still trying to sort out this running order. So I think I tried to look this up one other time before. They've named the flagman, but they've also given a name to the pace car driver here on iRacing service. There goes the lights. They're back on. Call him Logan. Okay. Is that a Threlkeld, I believe. But with that, we still have some things to sort out, so we're going to take another brief commercial break here in the Overtake iRacing League Multi-Class Series, live from Charlotte, race number 5. Coverage will continue in just a moment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Here live from Charlotte, North Carolina, the green flag is back out. James Silvers in the A-Class is going to lead them into turns 1 and 2. Leading the trucks is Peyton Hubbard in the 7th position. It's more of the same here. Looks like some damage repaired for Alex Healy. Remember, he was off the pace. He continues to lose ground to these front 5. But the battles continue. Remember John Schwartz? He was going up there and trying to challenge for that lead before the stage at lap 40, but ultimately it was David Farmer that got the win. Bobby Hall claiming it in the trucks. Tight battle here through 1 and 2. The 84 all over the back bumper of James Silvers. Silvers started on the pole here tonight. The top 2 are back where they started, but John Schwartz going to second, inside 3 and 4. He will claim that position, runs to the outside, going to try the high line through the quad oval. Battle for the lead briefly across the stripe. All over the back bumper of Silvers, still playing defense. Lap 53 underway. Oh, this is going to be a big run for Schwartz. Silvers makes a little bit of a mistake and not able to hold on. John Schwartz, first time to the lead. He'll get it and complete that pass. First lap lead for the 48 team. So a lot of shuffling around very quickly. We had that caution on the restart for stage 2 that brought a lot of drivers down pit road. This could be a moment, though, for some of these cars to save fuel. Remember, they were really content with how they were running in that first stage. But I believe they're going to split this run in half, probably pit somewhere around lap 80. That'll put them in the window of halfway, and I think the A-Class can make it. However, the trucks, they short pitted on that first stint. And watch Peyton Hubbard pull away from Michael Jones in the number 2, about half a second ahead of him. He's keeping pace with the A-Class right now, riding right behind Alex Healy. Good news for Cody Anderson, able to get that car back out on the racetrack and repaired that 4 to 5 minutes of optional damage. Still a little crinkle on the nose, but the GG's 42 looks like it's back up to par enough. No overheating issues, and he's going to continue to tick laps away. He's 2 laps down overall, but still going to be able to finish this race. Good for you, Cody Anderson. Bring it on home. Lead continues to stretch out up front. James Silvers has his hands full. David Farmer all over the back bumper. Matt Grenier, Michael Robinson, nose to tail, 2nd through 5th. We'll just take a quick look at the gearbox cam off the back of the 17. You can see what a run Farmer is able to get into the entries of the corners, but then it looks like Silvers, because he's backing up that entry, is able to get to the throttle sooner. He also has the advantage of a little bit cleaner air that's allowing this car to drive off a little bit better. Here's the run again into 1. It's the entries for the 84, the exits for the 17. And that could be kind of a tire save strategy on both ends of the racetrack. For Farmer, drives it in deeper, lets it float longer. Oh boy, what an entry there into 3. Almost got to the outside. He has Matt Grenier. They're going to be 2x2. Here comes Alex Healy. Where did he come from? Makes a pass on the 54, put Alex Healy back to the top 5. And so we try to remain as biased as possible up here in the broadcast booth, but what I was saying earlier almost seemed like we were leaving Alex Healy for dead. He was in a situation with a little bit of damage, had fallen out almost 4 seconds from these lead pack cars in his class. Now he surges back, looks like everything's cleared up. He's got a head of steam going for the 4th position. Matt Grenier holding on. It's kind of settled down 2nd through 4th. Alex Healy's going to look to stir the pot, though, as they come out of turn 2. Another good run. Slowly creeps up to the back bumper of Matt Grenier. Has the draft. Looks like another good entry into 3. He's going to ride right on the back of that Ford Mustang Dark Horse. Try to use that Chevy ZL1 Camaro to his advantage. Peeks to the outside. Grenier's going to try to make a pass. Looks like a mistake by Farmer. Although he rides the momentum into turn 1, maybe not a mistake by design. He'll pass for 2nd. Completes the pass. Silver's back to 3rd. Finds a slot to move up. We saw this in the first stint for the 17. Was really quick in the short run. Went up and challenged for the lead to try to get that pole position back and then lost ground. He continues to lose time. Looks like the tires falling off of the 17. We look back here deeper. Michael Jones, trouble coming out of turn 4. Parts all over the racetrack, and the 2 gonna pull it down to the chicane. Not sure who that other driver was. I think it was Bobby Hall. But a fender missing off of one of these trucks. No, that was the one, I believe the 113 of Daniel Worthington. He had some help here from the 9 of Barrett Morton. That's unfortunate there for the 2. Robinson had, Michael Jones had started, I believe, at the front of this pack of trucks. He's going to try to come down pit road and get some of this damage repaired. Alex Healy has worked his way up to the 2nd position, just made a pass on Schwartz, and here comes Matt Grenier to follow suit, giving draft help to the 97. Alex Healy, what a surprise here. Looked like he had lost a lot of that speed. I don't know if he changed things up here. Must have made an adjustment to his line or figured something out, because this 97 looks powerful in the 2nd portion of this race. 65 laps, 64 completed out of 115. Matt Grenier also looking strong. Peeks to the outside. Grenier all over the back bumper, looking back at the 15. It was really close there off the back of Healy. He kind of came up and gave some dirty air to the 15 car to keep him back there. Healy's playing a little bit of defense. Looks like clean air has not been favorable to Alex Healy. Once he got out there, it looks like he's kind of hit a wall, and Dave Farmer continues to pull away 0.7 of a second ahead of these drivers. Here comes Grenier. Big run out of 4. Contact with the wall for Silvers into the entry of 1. Healy's going to choose the high line. Will this prevail? Can he pull away? Does get a little bit of a gap. Watching back here with Sean Kaser and Barrett Morton, they've been nose to tail in the truck class for the 2nd position for quite some time. Morton, of course, there had a problem with Michael Jones and a little bit of contact coming out of turn 4 a moment ago, but has since been running behind Sean Kaser and not able to complete the pass. Peyton Hubbard continuing to pull away. He leads that truck class of C cars, and Looks like 1.3 seconds over on Sean Kaser and Barrett Morton. Bobby Hall, who picked up a little bit of damage. Looks like that right front definitely pushed in. We look off the back of the 51 of Hubbard. It's just another time zone. 51 all by himself, can run his own line, has no interference, not even any lap traffic to contend with. As he continues to watch the sun set here at Charlotte. Here we go, 3 wide down the backstretch. John Schwartz mixing it up again. James Silvers, Alex Healy. So Healy with that surge of speed to the front, looks like maybe he overdrove it. And now he falls back to the 5th position, maybe 6th after they get out of turn 1. So for my personal preference, very much not a fan of this A-Class car, and kudos to anyone that can learn how to drive it, but it's very, very distinct driving styles. And for me, I like a car that responds to throttle input. This car is very difficult to figure out. It's not as responsive. It doesn't really tell you what you're doing wrong to it until it's too late. And for a lot of these drivers, it's been a struggle. Alex Healy, of course, you saw how fast he was in the first portion of this run. Now he's falling out. He's lost all of that ground. And it looks like the car is starting to migrate towards the outside, as we saw in the first stint. Schwartz is starting to try that high line. He mixed it up there 3 wide. Looks like he's going to attack Matt Grenier into turn 1. So something similar to what's going on in the trucks. David Farmer has stretched his lead out to almost a full second. Just over that as they go through 3 and 4. 42 of Cody Anderson gets down out of the way to let this traffic by. Side by side for the 3rd spot. Silver's trying to take it away. Farmer pulls away, and here comes the 15 of Grenier to the inside. They're going to take it 3, 4 wide almost. That's sometimes the product of multi-class racing. 3 wide through 3 and 4. Contact with the 15 and the 17. Grenier holds on to it, but Schwartz benefits the most. He'll take away the 2nd spot. These guys slicing and dicing here. Would almost be considering green flag pit stops if you're Alex Healy, maybe Michael Robinson, as they go side by side in the backdrop there to the inside for Healy, trying to take back the top 5. He'll do it by a nose here, but slides up, contact. Big door touch and a hip check from the 97. Didn't break the momentum at all for Michael Robinson, but both these cars lose a little bit of ground to James Silvers and Matt Grenier. They fall out 6/10, 7/10. Man, this A-Class car, I think some of these drivers that are in the truck should consider coming over to the A-Class because it seems to be a lot more racy. Everybody on the top side through 1 and 2. Farmer maintains his 9/10 of a second, but John Schwartz last time by, 1/10 and a half faster than the 84. So it's kind of in reverse here for Farmer. He's really good on that short run, gets himself out into clean air. He's able to pull away. But John Schwartz a little more conservative for the first 25, 30 laps. Then hits the afterburners. Looks like he's going to continue to chase him down. Last time, 0.04 of a second. So Farmer maybe trying to maintain that gap. 7/10 though, you can see on the left side of your screen. That lead continues to dwindle down. We're approaching green flag pit stop time. And I would assume if Farmer does get caught by John Schwartz, he'll definitely bring it down pit road. Doesn't want to try to short pit too early. But this car seems to be better in that 35 to 40 range compared to John Schwartz now, who's chasing him down little by little. Quick look at your track temperature. It stayed about the same here, 75 degrees. The ambient air has dropped to 70 though. Started out around 71, 72 degrees. Track is maintaining that heat because these cars are rubbering it up. They are driving, especially with this A-Class, really hard. And so it's going to heat that surface up. Wild to think how much a 3,500-pound stock car can do to an asphalt surface, even under the lights, but it can really hold some heat here. They're approaching some lap traffic though. Michael Jones is back down pit road, as is Thomas Hall. And the 9 of Barrett Morton coming in for service. He'll be the first of the trucks to come in for a voluntary stop. Bobby Hall will take over the 3rd spot in his class. Sean Kaser, Peyton Hubbard, 1st and 2nd. Schwartz takes over the lead. Here comes Farmer down pit road. This is the call at lap 80. I was pinpoint accurate. Doesn't happen very often on V-Speed, but I pretty much called it right there at the split. Farmer came down pit road. We're going to start our green flag pit stop cycle on lap 81 for the A-Class. Schwartz gets a lap lead. Here comes Bobby Hall down pit road. James Silver's pitting alongside him. The 54 down as well. Michael Robinson. So Bobby Hall, who got involved in that incident earlier between Barrett Morton and Sean, or actually it was Michael Jones. Jones is elected to take an early exit from this race. Wes Wiegand also out. Daniel Worthington have all put it behind the wall for tonight. Bobby Hall trying to get 4 tires on this Toyota Tundra. Is down and away, doesn't get any of that damage repaired, needs a caution to probably rejuvenate that machine. James Silver's down and out. So it's Matt Grenier. John Schwartz still out on the racetrack for an additional 3 laps. Schwartz run up high. So for Peyton Hubbard, he's trying to get one of these laps back. He had brought it down pit road as well. Sean Kaser, who notoriously stayed out longer than all these other trucks the last time, but ended up not working out for him. But this run a little bit longer compared to that stage, and he only had 6 laps that he was able to make up time. This time around for the 25, stretching it out 4 or 5 laps, I can agree with it. In the wall there, Schwartz tags it. He's trying to let by Hubbard. It's definitely a lot faster on this exit, but I think he'll be better off to just let Hubbard go. Almost cost himself a little bit of damage on the exit of turn 4 that last time around. He just can't help it though. The closing speed on this draft, he's pulling right back up to Hubbard. And for drivers like David Farmer, as you see Schwartz coming down for service, Farmer started this pit cycle. He's going to come around here and take the lead back. Most likely going to pull it here on lap 86. Continue to pay attention to where Farmer is relative to the 48. Left sides are just now going up on John Schwartz as you see the 84 coming down the backstretch. Down and away now for John Schwartz. And out of turn 4, here comes Farmer. I think Schwartz might got on and off of pit road a little bit quicker than Farmer was able to. 48's going to merge back out onto the racetrack and maintain the lead. A big head of steam here for Farmer. Unfortunately, 5 lap older tires now. Doesn't look like anybody's going to catch John Schwartz without a caution. Sometimes it's just a matter of a few tenths in and out of that box, or a few tenths down that lane. You can make up a ton of time. See, 9/10 of a second there on the left-hand side of your screen. A little bit of lap traffic here with the 42 of Anderson. He's going to move up out of the way. Now 6/10. Looks like Schwartz not as fast in the short run. Remember, he doesn't really turn it on until about 30 laps into this. So for his stint, this isn't really in his wheelhouse. We've seen him really make up his ground after that 30 lap mark. We're only 2 laps on the tires for the 48, and Farmer's got the heat. He's got it down to 2/10. Here he comes. He's going to look for the lead coming out of turn 4. It's just another reason that it's so hard to drive this car. It drives totally different compared to the B and truck. Seeing a pass for the lead, a little brush with the wall, and it looks like Schwartz is going to give up the spot. I think tire heat has kind of helped the 84 make up all of that ground in a short amount of time. But the question is, if you're John Schwartz, did you let that happen? Did you knowingly let the 84 come up here and use maybe a little bit of extra so you can maintain and maybe learn his line, save your stuff for the bottom 10 laps? 25 to go when they cross the stripe. David Farmer leading the A-Class. Peyton Hubbard, he's got his top spot by about 2 seconds. Of course, Cody Anderson trying to finish out this race for the B car. We're going to take a quick commercial break, though, here on V-Speed. Uninterrupted coverage for the remaining 20 or so laps here on V-Speed.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Just coming back from Concord, North Carolina. New leader while we took that brief commercial break. James Silvers has found a second wind as he takes over the point. That's about a 1 lap advantage on this stint for tires. While we were talking about that, John Schwartz has fallen all the way back to 5th. Now, I do want to throw out there that John Schwartz may have only taken right side tires. Looking at the box time, 8.9 seconds. So I think for his situation, maybe just an error in call he's having some problems here on handling. He gets up into the outside wall there through 1 and 2. And so I think 2 tires just misses the call. Doesn't look like it's benefiting. He's actually having to downshift through the corners, and this car is just not handling. Shorts might have thrown this possible victory away. Likewise for the 84 as he starts to go into save mode a little bit here. We've got under 20 laps to go, 97 complete. James Silvers has led 18. David Farmer, the most laps led in the A class. Peyton Hubbard, of course, has the most laps led in his class. John Kaser is 2.1 seconds back from the 51 in the trucks. So a little bit of a change up here, and the momentum keeps swinging one way or another. We have our first round of green flag pit stops for the A class. Our second round here for the trucks. And a miscue by John Schwartz, but Alex Healy looks like he's behind the wall here. Heavy damage for the 97. Not exactly sure what happened. Try to cycle through here and find on lap 77, I believe, was the situation on cold tires. So Alex Healy was coming out of pit road. See him getting service. He came down, just another normal day. I'm not entirely sure. Here on my timing screen, it said Alex Healy may have crashed, but I think sometimes just exiting pit road can trigger that to happen. I'm not entirely sure where this actually went down, but it looks like the front toe link on that 97 is completely broke off. Maybe just wall contact that caused that situation. You know, for all of the carbon and composite body panels and how robust they've made this machine, the weakest point has always been the toe links on these next gen cars. And it's so easy to knock the steering completely out and lose an entire corner of the car by just making contact with the wall the wrong way. So we go back to the live shot here. You're watching James Silvers and David Farmer battles, heating back up for the lead with just about 10 laps to go. Off the back of the 17, Silvers started on the pole. And for the top 4, it's back to where they started. Farmer, who's had the dominant car pretty much all day, looks like he's got the momentum. He's going to carry the high line through 1 and 2. Silver's just not as fast on these exits, and he might want to consider moving up and giving some dirty air to that 84 car. He will. Not enough, though. Drops down to the bottom. Farmer makes a late arc into the exit of 4. Pass for the lead on lap 105. Holding it up on the outside. Looks like the 84 is going to prevail. Silvers falls back to second, but it is 1.8 seconds back to Matt Grenier. Matt Grenier has any hopes at a top 2. He's going to have to make that ground up in 10 laps in the 15. Checking back the strategy that we talked about with Sean Kaser. Looks like it has paid off. He stayed out longer than Peyton Hubbard, who came in and got fuel only. So a change for the top spot in the trucks. It looks like 2 errors for 2 drivers here tonight on the pit call. Hubbard loses the lead. Sean Kaser stayed out longer than everyone else. And it looks like I just lost some connection here. So I'm going to try to get back into this session. We'll watch it here from the live feed on the left-hand side of your screen. Silvers looks like he might be getting a surge back. Just trying to maintain second. So without telemetry really to judge anything, it looks like Silver's just lost connection as well. And that's a real shame. Here in the Midwest, it looks like our servers are having some issues. And I too got an abrupt exit from the session, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on with the iRacing service. I'm trying to get joined back in, but I can only imagine for James Silvers, who was right there with the leader right in front of him for his class with under 10 to go, what he must feel like as we see a battle here. Bobby Hall Jr. running in the 9th position on track. Looks like he's fourth actually for the trucks in his class, trying to chase down Barrett Morton. Heavy damage on the right front of that machine. Next time by, it'll be 5 laps to go. Matt Grenier is shaving off a lot of time, though. I'm watching that relative on the left-hand side. Looks like through certain portions of this racetrack, he's getting a 10th or 2. Farmer might just be in cruise control mode, though, because the 17 of Silvers, who lost connection, has now fallen back to the 6th position in his class. Probably won't be able to recover this situation. Peyton Hubbard got back around the 24 of Sean Kaser. They're snaking down the backstretch, though. So I don't know if Hubbard had to come back in for service or not. He's 3 laps down. I think he might have lost control. Entirely sure on that. So for me, everything's just a little bit confusing. And I know that losing that telemetry pretty much ruined it for me in this multi-class series. It's so hard to keep up with things, but Sean Kaser technically is still the leader, even though Hubbard gets back around him. He's 3 laps down. And so 3 laps down, racing for the 2nd spot. Barrett Morton is an eternity behind him here. So no real chance for the 9 to make a pass on the 51. We watch 2 laps to go. David Farmer riding off into the sunset. The lights are officially on. They've been on for pretty much the entirety of this race, but the sun has completely set. We're fully night racing at Charlotte. White flag in the air. We know we can see that. And the Function Junction Smoke Shop 84 machine is going to take that white flag for his class. Sean Kaser is going to come around and take it for the trucks. And Cody Anderson has survived just enough. He's going to get a victory and claim that B car. Farmer, just a phenomenal day for him. He's been the dominant car all race long. He'll come by out of turns 3 and 4 for the final time. A-class winner in race number 5 of the multi-class series. David Farmer in the 84 takes it home in Concord. Here comes Sean Kaser. Just has to bring it on home. No fight for position. Man, what a storybook it would be if Peyton Hubbard was that spot. But it looks like Bested and Sean Kaser will win the trucks. Cody Anderson in the B class. So we're going to bring it down to the front stretch. Quick pop-up graphic with I'm sure how many laps were led. I know it's well over 80 here tonight. If you're the 84, you got to feel like you led a million of them. It says only 72. I felt like he led even more than that. Started in 7th spot on the racetrack. The tail end of those A-class cars wasn't enough to hold him back. We also see Sean Kaser burning his stuff down in the grass here. So Cody Anderson right alongside him. Post-race interviews with your top finishers in each class. Those final results right after we gather that information. You're watching the Overtake iRacing League Multi-Class Series live from Charlotte here on V-Speed. We'll be back right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back live from Charlotte, and the Overtake iRacing League Multi-Class Series has concluded its 115 laps from Concord, North Carolina. Charlotte Motor Speedway put on a good show. 1 caution officially with that stage break, 2 cautions total, 9 lead changes. Well, we could probably add another 9 to that between Peyton Hubbard and Sean Kaser going back and forth today. But it was David Farmer who's going to win his class in the A car. Sean Kaser, see position 4 on that race result. He'll win his segment in the trucks. Cody Anderson surviving the day, brings it home 8th, but top spot in the only car in the B class. Matt Grenier finishes 2nd and Michael Robinson 3rd, Sean Kaser 4th. Of course, we're going through with the classes, so we'll talk about the top 3 in the A car was Farmer, Grenier, and Robinson. The top 3 in the truck series was Kaser, Hubbard, and Morton. Bobby Hall will finish 4th in his class. Cody Anderson 1st. Then it's John Schwartz 4th in the A car. Actually had a little bit of telemetry issues here with James Silvers. He got ejected out of the series, but somehow still salvages the day, but he'll be at the tail end of this grouping in the 6th position. And then go back to Thomas Hall. Alex Healy had major issues with damage, and thankfully for the 17 of Silvers, he had his problems before Silvers lost connection, so that will be a spot gain for him. Then it's Michael Jones, who had an early exit as well. Daniel Worthington, 118 laps down. And at the tail end of the trucks, it's going to be Wes Megan in the number 88. So with that, we're going to pull up some drivers for these post-race interviews. First one on the docket, I think we pull up Cody Anderson in the B class. And Cody, I tell you, man, all you had to do was survive. And even that was a struggle here tonight. Looked like the restart right in front of you, you just drove around a damaged car for the second half of this race.
Yep, it was just fighting a blown motor. Well, an almost blown motor. I had to run about 3/4 throttle on the straights. Otherwise, my water temp was overheating really bad.
It looked like the nose piece on that car never actually got fully repaired. And you stayed in for about 4.5, maybe 5 minutes to try to get as much as you could. Nonetheless, though, you survived today. You're going to come home. Of course, it's kind of, not to take anything away from you, but it was kind of like a consolation victory, because where are all the B-class cars tonight, Cody?
I'll take my asterisk.
Take them any way you can get them, Cody. I know that you got people backing you up, though, and you did a great job keeping that car on the racetrack. Anybody you want to shout out again while we have you in the booth?
Just you guys again for the broadcast. Go back and watch it later tonight. Everybody at CSM and everybody at Oil.
There you have it. Cody Anderson winning in the B class. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
And so now moving on, we're going to pick our Truck Series driver, Sean Kaser, who outwitted him with the strategy. Peyton Hubbard kind of fell behind there. I know you were doing that in the first stage of this race, where you were kind of experimenting with how far can I really push this truck. It looked like it paid off in that second stage. You got a whole lap advantage on the 51.
Oh, yeah. No, it was a good race. Me and Peyton were pretty even. Barrett was right there, too. And Peyton maybe had a little bit better of a long-run truck than me, but I was able to keep it close. The biggest thing is actually one of the last cautions. I came in and topped off, and it gave me a couple extra. And I'm in a chat with Barrett and Peyton. They didn't really think that it was going to be enough and worthwhile to save, but I was clutching it and shutting her off in the middle of the corners and was able to save a couple laps.
We saw you stretch it probably 7-8 laps more than anyone else in your class. And for the first stage, it kind of backfired, but you stayed committed to it. Did that experiment go through your mind for that second stage of the race?
Well, it worked out. I mean, it really didn't start out as an experiment for the second stage. I wasn't aware that it was going to work out like that. But the fact that I was doing that in the first stage, and the reason why I was doing that in the first stage is because we could go about 30 to 32 laps depending, and the first stage came out 40, so I was just taking it easy, and if just in case we got some cautions, that allowed you to make it all the way until the end of the stage. So definitely helped out in the long run. Sometimes it just works out that way, and it's good that it did.
I mean, sometimes 1,000 miles per hour at 1,000 IQ, sometimes they prevail with that strategy. And I know that you put it on out here tonight to win your class, kind of broke up the consecutive consistency that Peyton Hubbard's put on. Going to try to mix the pot up here. Sean Kaser, anybody you want to shout out for tonight's win in the trucks?
Yeah, I just want to shout out once again my teammates Peyton and Barrett, Bandit Motorsports. I mean, we had a good practice session again, talked about our lines and the fuel mileage and how to run qualifying, and allowed us to start up front in our class. And thank Cody and Alex for putting this on, and thank you guys for doing a great broadcast. I appreciate it.
We appreciate that. Kind words, Sean Kaser. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to seeing you next week at Gateway.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
And finally, with that, we bring up our A-class winner, the dominant driver of the day. David Farmer leads 72 laps. This one's got to feel good, Dave. I mean, you were fast.
Yeah, you know, this track, I love this track, and it's because there's so many different things you can do. You can save fuel and go for the long fuel run. You can save tire and wait to the end. You can go all out and just, you know, bank on raw speed. This track gives you a lot of different options, and I love racing around this track, and I hang my hat on being really good around it.
I got to ask you, you did have a little tear in that Achilles at one point in this race. It looked like John Schwartz was all over you. And had he not missed the call on the strategy, I don't know exactly what happened. It looked like just a miscue for 2 tires. Do you think that would have changed things had that not happened?
So, you know, yeah, I knew that, you know, whenever he stayed out long, I was like, okay, well, I need to start saving here, because I came out, obviously, I think he pitted 3 laps after me or something like that. So I knew he would have the tire advantage later in the run. So I started trying to, you know, back my corners up and save tire as much as possible. Fuel obviously wasn't an issue at that point, but just wanted to save tire for the, you know, imminent battle that was to come. And then I don't know if he took the crew chief said he took 2 left sides, and maybe it was a botched pit stop or something. I'm not sure, but I definitely think it would have been a fun race there at the end, nonetheless. But it would have been interesting, to say the least. I don't know. I can't say for sure whether I would have still won, but you know, I'd like to think that as much tire savings as I was doing, I would have prevailed. I at least came out in front of him on the cycle, and had a few seconds lead, because the new tires are so much more prominent than the older tires, obviously, and you can get ahead pretty quickly.
Well, David, I feel like I know you well enough to just make light of this situation, but you hacked the pit stop for the 48. Yeah, disconnected James Silvers, and you bring it home in first. Yeah,
man. I guess I was a keyboard warrior tonight. I was out there hacking and dashing. But no, it was a fun race. This multi-class thing we're doing is it's different for sure. It's nice to have you know, obviously higher car counts on the track. And it's fun. It brings a, you know, different element to it, because not only are you racing around, you know, the cup cars and you know, drivers in that world and different pit strategies and all that, you're also racing with cars that don't have, you know, the cup car has a bigger fuel tank, so our fuel runs are longer. So then you got guys coming off and on pit road that, you know, in trucks and Xfinity, and it makes for a whole different thing, and it's a ton of fun.
And a very unique atmosphere, and it's the only one like it here on V Speed. David, while we have you in the booth, anybody you want to shout out for tonight's victory?
Yeah, you know, obviously everybody with OIL that stuck around with us here. You know, we've kind of dialed things back a little bit. Just still, you know, it's a great group of guys. We love racing with everybody, and thankful that, you know, it seems that everybody likes racing with us. So it's fun to get out on track and have some fun and go back and forth and take, obviously, this silly racing style to you know, a little bit serious and make it fun for everybody. But thank you guys for broadcasting for us. It's always a great time to go back and look at the replays. I enjoy that very much. Get to see the battles in a different perspective. So, and then you know, thank my family and friends for always having my back. Most of my friends, obviously, I race with. So it's a fun time, and I enjoy it.
And with that, David Farmer is victorious. He's going to add himself into victory lane here for week number 5. We appreciate your time, Dave, and look forward to seeing you at Gateway.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys.
So there you have it, your top finishers as we cycle through. It's week number 6 from the Gateway and Worldwide Tech Raceway, whatever you want to call it. That's October 28th. And you can get a good shot of the arch there in St. Louis off of the front stretch. Just a very unique racetrack. You just got a really flat, Darlington-shaped hybrid with New Hampshire. It's just a very weird racetrack, to say the least, but I do enjoy racing here, and I think they're going to put on a great show. That'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern time here on V-Speed next Monday. Hope you guys can join us as we'll have flag-to-flag coverage all season long with the Overtake iRacing League multi-class series. But for everybody that was part of the production, Holley, Oktane Designs, 4D2 Designs, we've got a lot of racing left to go here on V-Speed. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night. We'll have 2 races going live. Of course, we've got the QSR Truck Series and the SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series. Those starting at 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. respectively. For our production team, DJ Lyon up in the broadcast, pushing the buttons, making this thing look good. Adam Baker for everything he does in the background to help us out here at V-Speed and running other productions. Eddie Smith, Morgan Cook, Logan Threlkeld, and Christian Hill, our other producers. This is Bradley Cooper telling you to have a great rest of your week. Stay tracking. We'll see you next time.